Keeping everything in correct proportions to each other is not so difficult if we're drawing with pencil, because we can keep adjusting our lines. But if we're drawing freehand in ink, then what do? How do we maximize our chance for getting our lines in the right place to keep everything in proportion as possible? My technique works in simple subjects, but it works with subjects as complex as the Berliner Dom in Berlin. I start with an element, often one that's closer to me, but that's fairly simple in geometric shape, and I draw it as in proportion as I can, and that's my initial measuring point. But then I try and draw another unit, which I can then use that whole unit rather than just that first element as my reference point. And in this case, I'm doing that first section of the facade to the left of the corner that has the entranceway down below and a pedimented window above. So now getting the proportions for the height of the column I've already drawn, or pilaster it is. And then I'm working out the widths by looking at the widths of the elements in the doorway that I have to include. And by seeking to get those correct, that's my best chance to get the overall width connect. If I just put a line where I think it is, it may not be in the right place. And I make the mistake of doing that with the very last thing I draw. So I'll tell you and show you that at the end. The one time in the whole drawing, I didn't use this technique and I got an extra line where I don't want it. But this enables me now, once I've gone across in the entranceway, I can go above that. And now I've got this section complete. So having done that, I'm now looking at the lower right-hand side of this corner. And part of the reason why it's good to do this now is because they're the same elements that I've just drawn, but in a different position, at a different angle. And so my memory is fresh, and the way I've drawn those elements also is fresh in my mind. So I can get a consistency in how they look. So it's always slowest at the first part of a drawing such as this, because we're having to work out very carefully our initial reference points. Once we've progressed further in all directions, presumably, it will get quicker and quicker. Both because we'll have more reference points to line up with, but also because as we move further into the distance with this building, we'll actually be drawing less precision, less detail, and that will help give the effect of distance. But this closer section, we want to take more care, both because we're working out what's what and we're creating the effect of closeness by showing more detail. And for the detail to be accurate, we need to make it precise. So now I'm moving across to the left with the next section, which is stepped back somewhat. Now I'm fortunate with this in that there is almost a baseline. It's not at eye level, it's above eye level, so it does actually slope up slightly towards the left, but it gives me a fairly good solid line that I can easily draw to establish the base of the main structure of the cathedral, which is good. And so you can see all the time I'm comparing with where things measure up to in alignment with the things I've already drawn, as well as checking the perspective angles. So when I put the pen, when you see me put in that pen, which is a 0.1 Copic multiliner, on the drawing in a certain spot, it's because I'm measuring across horizontally somewhere, or vertically possibly, what it lines up with, so I can double check that with my drawing. And if my drawing is starting to become inaccurate, it lets me massage it back into a more accurate place. I can, if you like, spread the error over a few lines, over a few widths, and have it less of an impacting thing. And I've just added a bit of shadow into these doorways just to help me make immediately clear to myself what's column and what's space. Nothing's worse than when you put the shadow between two lines and then you discover you've shadowed the column, not the space between the columns. Now, there are some trees here that I need to preserve the space for, just in front of the two figures that I've drawn. Now, I'm having to make sure that the parts of the building that align with other parts align in the perspective angle. And one thing you'll see me doing with the pen is I'm checking my perspective angle as I move further down. The larger distance we have to measure the perspective angle, the more accurate it's going to be when we draw it. When we're measuring a short distance, it's much more difficult to get that accurate. But as the line progresses across the paper, if we haven't got it exactly right in the first place, the error will become greater as it moves along, up or down, whichever direction the line's going. And so by continually checking that line as we draw freehand, if we find that our initial line wasn't quite right, we can shift the angle slightly and maybe a bit further along, shift the angle slightly again. It just depends what we're drawing and whether we think it's going to look odd. But we can often, as I said before, massage our errors and spread them over a wider area. Now, look, this is the one part that I'm particularly unhappy about, this large archway that's in the center of the building. I got a bit confused with my inner line and outer line for the arch surround in the front. And so I took the inner line up to the top instead of bringing it down below. So the bottom line is the arch went up too high. So I'm hoping it's not so obvious to people. I've always felt it's a bit of an awkward aspect of the architecture of this church anyway. And I couldn't really make out the detail of this dark metallic shield sculptural decoration that hangs over the archway. Now, as we move further away, I'm getting faster, both because I'm becoming familiar with the architecture, but also because I am feeling less pressure to draw the detail. But I do need to suggest the detail. I need to have lines that credibly look like, at a glance, the pattern of what we're looking at in the reference. And you'll see I am putting the lens distortion as I move along to the left. I was going to correct it and just take all the lines up horizontally, but I then forgot, and my first lines to the left, I put them on that slight slope, so I had to keep it going with the whole thing. Sorry, those spider shadows are just my hair getting in the way. Because I had the camera up so high to get the width of this, I was able to get my head underneath the camera if I wasn't careful, which normally I can't do. I bang the camera with my head because it's down much lower as I'm doing smaller drawings. Now, the trickiest part as I move along to the left, besides getting the perspective angles consistent with what I've drawn, is the foreshortening. Everything becomes very tight. If you look at the width of, if you like, the section to the left of the archway and just compare that to the width of the section on the right of the archway, it's so much narrower, and it gets narrower and narrower as it progresses till it's almost hard to make out what's what. And some of the elements that we've drawn on the right-hand side, we can't even see because of the angle. So it's important not just to think, oh, yes, I'm familiar with this. Yes, there's a column, there's a window, there's a column, there's a pilaster, there's a whatever. Because it may well be that we can't see one side of numerous ones of those elements, and we only see half of them. And that makes the whole thing much narrower, much tighter. And if we just start to draw the elements that we know are there without really looking to see if we can see them in this view from this distance, we may well put too much detail, and not so much too much detail, but too much width along with those details, and that's not going to be so good. So now I've moved to this front corner tower, which is probably one of the more significant elements of this, simply because it is so close. And it's not so hard when I'm now measuring beneath, aligning with things I've drawn underneath. But how far to push up this largest section, this section where the columns and the arches are, is a matter of great concentration for me. And I just had the camera off for a minute and a half there, but fortunately no longer. It's a matter of great concentration because I can't measure it off anything I've done. This is where I now just have to look at my reference, look at what I've done, and make as accurate a stab at getting the proportions correct as I can. But I do still think proportions. I do still look at the box shapes that we can see on the corner, the proportion of width to height, because I have a sense of the width, and therefore if I make the height so that that rectangle is in the same proportion, then that will give me an alignment then left and right for the two pedimented arches. And then we have these little decorations. And all the way as we go, so here's the dome, and it's important not to take them up too high because we are looking up from the ground. It has it doesn't flatten the domes, but we see less of them because more is hidden than we normally see by the curve of the side, which means in effect we draw the curve not as high above the base of the dome. So now I have these figures. There's a group of sculptures that run down. Again, we're drawing the effect of the detail, not the detail, particularly once the cathedral is drawn behind. We'll see these figures individually a whole lot less as well. It did get quite difficult here. I slowed down quite a bit because it was just quite hard to actually see the detail of the building. It was burnt out in the last days of World War II, and I assume that there's a lot of scarring in the colouring from the fire, or possibly it's just how the sandstone has aged. I don't know, but I'd be surprised if it wasn't something of the fire still in evidence. Now, these are the parts now where we start to test how accurate the proportions we've drawn are as we now position the elements such as the base of the main dome now, because will it fit into the spaces correctly, both horizontally and vertically? So I look at where the left-hand side of the drum sits, and then I start to put the detail that I can see between the elements that I've seen. Now at this point though, what's important is that the drum sits on the building realistically and the dome looks realistic. So I won't distort what's there for the sake of accuracy. I will, as I've said before, massage my drawing slightly if need be to have it still look correct, have it still look realistic. So now I can do these two angels that go all the way around the dome and then draw the lantern. The very top of the lantern was unfortunately cut off, and I really should have looked up another photo to see exactly what's above what's missing, because I suspect there's something, and I've still got plenty of room on my paper. This drawing took me just over 2 hours, maybe 2.25 hours. So you're seeing it fairly sped up. But if you want to see me draw it more slowly, then remember you can use that cog icon that you can see on the screen to slow it down to half speed. And this voiceover, except for sounding a bit creepy, will still be understandable if you still want to hear what I'm saying. So now I'm aligning vertically with what's underneath, with what I've already drawn, because I'm happy with that. I'm checking my perspective angles across the whole width of the drawing. So the top of this archway here needs to align with the top of the archway in the tower on the right hand side. And so again, I measure the entire perspective line as much as I can. And now again, doing the dome, but being careful to forget the memory of the dome that I've already drawn, and to, on the other side, and to look at this one and draw this one on its own. Not to be confused. And I add some of those marks there for the sheeting, the metal sheeting. So now I realize I haven't finished the doorway here. So I do that. And now I branch outwards. I'm afraid from this point on, the paper becomes more yellow as the sun was setting, and the lights I had were adequate for me drawing, but the sensitivity of the camera picked up the difference without the light bouncing in through the window as well. So now I just do a few people. I want to put some people here. I want to get to street level because that's part of the scene. I don't want the building not having some of its lowest sections. I want it to ground with the earth. But equally, I don't intend to draw the whole street. I don't intend to draw the whole reference. So I haven't quite worked out exactly what I'll do, but I think I've decided by this stage that the top of the tree line on the left side will be basically the bottom of the drawing, but I will draw more detail just in this center section, and then the right hand section will be like the left hand section, where the top of the tree will basically be the end of what we draw. But I do want the people to give a sense of scale, because this is a very large building. The Kaiser of Germany built this as his family church, so there's a bit of aggrandizement here, I think. Now, this detail that I'm drawing now is different to anything that's we've seen so far, so it took a little more concentration, but we do want to make sure that we don't get over carried away with it, because it does sit further back from that corner tower and facade. So we're wanting to create a sense of closeness from this front corner tower. And now I'm doing the final tower, and this is where I just do some blocking lines without thinking. I'm thinking, okay, so how wide is this thing going to be? Instead of starting at the left-hand side and working across, I put two vertical lines. Oh, I just realized that I hadn't actually done this section here, so that's good. And the right-hand line there is about 2 millimeters too far. It will make the tower too wide if I include it. So I just leave it there as an orphan, just standing in space, having some effect visually, but not as bad as if I'd actually incorporated it into the drawing. G'day, I'm Stephen Travers. Well, what do you think? Look, my method for drawing freehand with pen does work for more complicated subjects as well. So why not give it a go? This photo will be on my channel community page if you're game. Have a go and see how you go. But look, whatever you draw and however you draw it and whatever you draw it in, make sure you have fun. I'll see you next time. Bye.